Welcome back to Kasim and John Teach Google Ads.
Yeah.
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 I like that you got on board that time.
That's how I contribute. Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about the keyword planner today, which
Mhm.
feels a little rudimentary on the outset, but there's actually a lot you can do when you dive deep in the keyword planner.
Yeah, it's interesting. Keyword planner, like when you get in there, a lot of people they get kind of intimidated or kind of nervous or scared. And so this is just going to be kind of a quick how-to, particularly as applied to developing your keyword strategy. So when we have a new client, obviously come to us and say, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Can you tell me how is a campaign going to perform? We use multiple tools, but one of them is Google Keyword Planner in order to identify volume, how much the cost per click is going to be, what keywords we think will work, what will not, and kind of develop a preliminary plan in order to put together what we think is a good forecast of estimates and projections. And so we've done this, so we do this so often that I figured we'd just make a little video about it and kind of give insights as to we're not just, throwing darts at a dartboard until a word we like comes out. We actually have a little bit of a process. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. And now it's not going to be the whole thing because Google Keyword Planner, this will be 10 videos long, but this is just going to be a brief synopsis of what we do.
Yeah, and my understanding of keyword planner is the data is averaged out across a year's time, right? It's a 12-month rolling average in terms of like impressions and costs and those things. And then there's a 30% variation in either direction for a 60% window variance. Did I make that up, or do you have that?
No, you're right. I think that the variance also, though, it veers towards the conservative side. So it's, if we think that there's going to be 100 clicks, there's probably about 150 clicks. They're more conservative in their estimates, so they like to scale it back, which is a good thing to know because sometimes you'll see how are only 10 people a month Googling this keyword. And it's actually a lot more, but that's just what their estimates are because it says, well, some months it's lower, some months it's higher, so we're just going to give you a small, round 10 searches, and that's what's going to happen.
Doesn't it go the other way with costs, though? They're more conservative with traffic, but with costs, they tend to show you a lower CPC than we ever end up paying.
Yeah, and there's ways around that. And you got to look at like what the average is. So it'll be like the low and then the high top of page range, which would mean like for $4, you'd be number 4. For $200, you'd be number 1. And then you kind of find out exactly where in between there. And then it's kind of up to your best judgment. But it depends on whether you're going for clicks, for placement, for conversions. You could be in that range, but depending on what you want to do for that keyword.
Okay, let's dive into it. I'm excited.
Cool. I want to share some pretty easy things that you could do with Keyword Planner that is less intimidating. And I'm going to use a bad example just because it's going to be easiest identified and easily, recognizable type of.
I love bad examples.
Yep. It's the only ones I got. So we do this, discover new keywords. This one's a great place to start. If you have a website that's been up for a while, this one could actually do 2 things. A, give you good insights as to what keywords you should go after, or B, find out that the way that your website is set up is actually saying something different than what people are searching for. And I'll give you an example. So we say discover new keywords. This feature here, enter a domain to use as a filter. So here's what's kind of nice. You just say Nike.com. No, I think I have to do actual
HTTPS.
I think so. Yeah. So let's just do this. I'll grab the full thing here. Okay, there we go. So enter domain, page to find keywords. So if you do Nike, you can either use the entire site or you can use a single page. So if you have a landing page that's been working for a while, maybe you have 5 different services, but you want to mark for one service, just choose that one page that you have that service on. But we're just going to use the entire site for right now. And if you say get results, you'll see that for Nike, it'll give you tons of different keywords and the size and the average search volume. So it's kind of nice. It pulled up 3,271 keywords, and you can see the average monthly searches. So Nike Air Max, that's actually wrong, ARE, but that has more searches than Nike Air Max. 97, Nike the outlets, there's a lot of different keywords here. But what's kind of nice about this is you get to pick and choose the ones you do like and ones you don't like. And you get to see kind of the top of page range and top of page bid, low range, top of page bid, high range. So this is like position number 4. This would be position number 1 on average.
Can we just pause and meditate on the fact that 800,000 people a month misspell air?
I know. Nike R Max. It's probably funny too because it might be like how many autocorrect victims are in here.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's just I choose to believe that's 823 stupid,
Probably.
823,000 people.
And Google's conservative, so there's a lot more.
Yeah, let's go back to the bid. So top of page bid, low range. That means generally position 4-ish.
Yeah, and then position number 1-ish, like high range. So you can see how for Nike the outlets. I don't know why that is a search term, but apparently this is what Google's teaching us. That is a popular search term. And the top of page low range is 16 cents to be number 4 position. But the number 1 position can be almost as high as closer to $10 per click. So
it's huge. It's 100x.
Yeah. And the cool part about this too is you can actually choose areas. So this is all United States, but if we did, let's say where we're at, Scottsdale, and then we're going to remove this and then save, it's going to change everything. You get to see a little bit more competition data. So, what's not the competition nationwide, but if I was to market in this area, what would be my competition? What are the keywords? What are the average monthly service? You can see that they go a lot lower now in volume because we're talking about a very specific area. It gives you the trend here, what kind of months that the actual searches come in for. And what's kind of cool about this is you can actually start to execute your Google Ads plan here. You can say, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, and that one. And you can say, I'm going to add it to an actual campaign inside of this ad group. And I'm going to use the match type of phrase match and then click add, and it will actually add that to it. Broad match. Don't ever do broad match unless it's modifier. Broad match modifier. If you do straight broad match, I have seen the funniest stuff. There was I think it was free driving school, and then the other one was DUI. They both have something to do with driving, but that was it. It was free driving school, DUI. Yeah, it's close enough. Here's an ad. It's just so. I mean, when they say broad, that's even used loosely. It's way more than broad. It's same language.
Well, it makes sense because Google's becoming so obsessed with the user intent and their ability to interpret that intent that they're starting to ignore the words. I mean, which is why they took words out of AdWords. But you know what I mean? They're just this person might buy from you, regardless of what it is that they searched.
Yeah, or it's the other 5 times that happened, they bought something, so maybe this person will do the same thing. Right. That's gonna be our next video is keyword match types: broad match modifier, phrase match, and exact match, and the difference in when to use each one. That'll be our next video. That's gonna be a good one. But yeah, so with here you can actually add the keywords right to an existing either plan or that you can execute, or right to a live account. So actually building the actual Google Ads campaign here. The other part too is we won't have keyword ideas from a website, but if we did something like Nike shoes, for example, let me use this here and get results. You can see that it actually starts to say, hey, broaden your search. If you were saying Nike shoes, they also might be interested in Nike basketballs and sneakers and name brand shoes. And you actually start to add these keywords to your search results. And what will happen is they give you something called the keyword ideas that we provided. And then keywords you provided here, and then keyword ideas, and then they get to kind of group them up together. So think about these as ad groups. So imagine you had these as your ad groups now: Nike Outlet, Vans Old, Adidas Superstar. Again, this is just if you were to say Nike shoes and shoe. Now imagine shoe, how broad shoe is. These are all the ad group ideas. But if we just let's take out shoe, for example, so that our ad groups aren't as random. Nike Monarch, Air Axis, Nike Mag, Irving shoes. I think Joyride is a type of shoe, but you can see how they're all sort of grouped together by an ad group.
Wait, can I pause you on something you just said? This is really telling. You said, I think Joyride is a type of shoe.
I think it's Nike Joyride is a shoe.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's what Keyword Planner I think is really good for, is you see something that's completely out of the blue and you're like, well, Joyride doesn't sound relevant to me at all. But then you dive deep and you're like, oh goodness, that's a type of shoe that I wasn't aware of. Let me add that to my plan, or remove that from my plan as it may be.
Yeah. And that's what's kind of nice too, because if you were saying well, I sell Nike shoes, but I'll never sell Joyride. So maybe that's some negative keywords you want to add. Because, Nike Joyride, Run Flyknit, Run Price, these are the different types of Nike Joyrides. What's kind of cool about this is you say, yes, 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 no, I never do Joyrides, here. And then you can actually add these ad groups. right to campaigns. So it's kind of cool that you could build a campaign here just by saying, do I want to pay that price? Is it enough monthly searches? Is it relevant? Yeah, let's go ahead and try it. Try it usually with either broad match modifier, so it's not too expensive. But yeah, it's a great way to kind of see how many people are searching, what is it going to cost me, and is it relevant? And should I add to my campaign? You can do that all here within Google Keyword Planner.
What's the with the graphs in the middle, Judd? I mean, I've seen this because we use Keyword Planner sometimes on a daily basis, and yet I've never really dug deep. I'm talking about the ones that are actually next to the keywords.
Right here?
That's showing spike. Is that, there we go. That's
Yep. So these things will actually tell you the month and the search volume by month. So you can see seasonality. For example, Christmas tree near me. Wait, hold on, go to keyword ideas.
Shocker.
December. There's a spike in Christmas trees in December. Call the press. That's something awesome. I would have never imagined. Yeah, but you can kind of see.
You know what's weird though? Go to Christmas trees for sale near me. There's this weird little excess jump that I'm seeing in the graph. What is that? What is that?
January. It's probably people getting rid of their trees.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then, yep, Christmas in July. There's 10 people. But this is just Scottsdale, remember, too. We're still on Scottsdale, not the United States.
Oh, so this is geolocated to Scottsdale only?
Yeah, it's still just in Scottsdale. We do the United States, and then we remove Scottsdale, though.
And we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. And what's kind of cool here is if you're, someone not really affiliated with marketing and you have a Christmas tree farm, start your ads in November.
Right.
There's
well, and actually look at tree farm near me, which again obviously isn't Christmas specific, but you see how just significantly correlated it is with Christmas. But there's also the nice little spike over there. When is that, May?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would there be 33,000 people in May?
I'm trying to think about what events align with that. See, and this is again just another really cool thing about Keyword Planner that you get to look at and say, wow, there's a consistent spike for tree farms in May. Let's go figure out why that is.
It's so perfect. It's like little Christmas trees. Oh man, it's funny. But yeah, so that's what's kind of cool about it. You get to see, it gives you great data that you can use. And I love Keyword Planner. It's what we use when we're not bringing in competitive analysis, or when it's not something that is like a brand new unestablished industry. You can use Google. I can't talk. Google Keyword Planner. I know. You can do Google Keyword Planner.
Well, hold on. I want to beat up on the CPC. So do me a favor. What's our highest? Well, let's not tell people that. What's one of our? Just do like Google Ads agency in the keyword. I want to see what Google says the CPC is going to be. Oh,
yeah, that's about right.
All right.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit overshot too.
Well, that's just because we have a very high quality campaign, John.
Yes, when you have a great quality score, landing page experience, and expected click-through rate, especially with historical, you can get really good low cost per click. But yeah, that's about right. I mean, your low range and your high range, if you want to be number one for AdWords management company, $65. Yeah, that's about right.
Makes sense. It's funny because sometimes I'll jump in here and I'll do some keyword research, and then we actually start running the campaigns, and it's just it can be night and day just how staggering the difference is.
Yeah, it's so funny too because pricing is one of our least performing keywords. I'm just gonna give that little secret hint there. People that were looking for pricing, it was a lot of times just want to know how much it costs, and I'm thinking about it. Maybe if you want to play the long game, probably a great keyword, but not at that price. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to see. It's kind of cool to see the volume, the monthly searches, and then also says, hey, we're like broaden your search. PPC agency, online advertising agency, because people may not know PPC what it means, but they know they want their ad to appear on Google. But yeah, it's a great tool. I love this. And I think the one thing that you always, one last thing too, I wanted to share with you the plan overview. Let me just add these here, but let's just say I want all of them add to plan. Yeah. So you can actually build a plan in here that would give you forecasts. Now, these forecasts are a work in progress. This is in really big beta. And so it's like, hey, you get 2 conversions for $560 and an $11 max CPC. And what's kind of cool about this is you can actually change, well, what if I wanted more conversions? If you want 5 conversions, you're going to spend $3,400 and you're going to pay $26 per click. And then you can kind of see, well, when my max CPC kind of rises, I flatline between $100 and $58. I'm still going to get the same amount. Again, based on your website, based on your call to action, based on like literally every single other factor in the entire world besides the statistic, you can kind of choose, well, what if I had a 5% conversion rate? I don't know why that's not working. Hold on. A 5% conversion rate. Then all it does is basically say, okay, you'll get, double because it went from 2.5 to 5. So it's kind of like a master your own destiny if you say like, well, if I get this, but it's good to see kind of where things fall in estimates. So what your average CPA is going to be, how many clicks you would need, it kind of can give you, hey, $3,400 a month, you're going to spend about $150 a day. So again, take this with a grain of salt. It's not like a choose your own destiny. It's kind of like it's a scenario analyzer. Well, if I got really good conversion rates, I can get this. If I was horrible, it would be a flop. So it's kind of cool that you can kind of build a little bit of a plan, but if you have some good experience in Google Ads, you kind of know where you're going to lie. And you can kind of build a projection by saying, on the low end, if we got 3% conversion rate, we'd be X. If we got 10% conversion rate, we'd be Y. So imagine falling somewhere in between there initially starting out. So yeah, it's a good way for you to kind of see like, is this even something I'm willing to try at a 5% conversion rate, which is fairly decent. Am I willing to even spend $306 per lead? Some people may say like, oh no, I'm not, because that's actually probably a very real number.
We spend, if you don't count our remarketing campaign, we spend more than that per lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why, like, if you count our remarketing, we're under that, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, this would be a really real scenario that would play out if you and I were doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really dangerous in the wrong hands.
Yeah, especially if you get people that are like,
I see clients calling us like, well, I did the numbers and
if I had a 75% conversion rate, these are real cheap. Like, yeah, let's I'll spend $60 a click. This is perfect. All right, John, make it happen. Yeah, so it is very dangerous, especially if you get an agency that A, doesn't know what they're doing, or B, not honest,
abuse the system. Yeah,
or D, all the above. Well, like, yeah, you can see how this thing, you can really not trust those results. You have to really say, how did you get that number, and why did you choose this one, and what gives you the idea that this is actually going to take place. And so if anybody ever hands you something that like looks something like too good to be true, most of the time it is, especially in the sales process.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm doing an eval right now for a company. I can't use their name, obviously, but they're going to be the Amazon of a very specific niche type of product. I'll not expose them any further than that, but really big brand, very well funded, and they came to me with their cost per acquisition. They're like, all right, well, we need this type of lead to be, I don't know the numbers, but like $30 for a lead, and this type of lead to be $50 for a lead. And I was able to back into that and say, well, your click is $10. So unless you have the most amazing conversion rate. But yeah, it's just so funny how arbitrary sometimes that data can be until you're actually looking at the whole formula.
Yeah. Or exactly when you think like, it's so funny because you'll ask clients, okay, well, what do you think your kind of, how much are you willing to pay per lead? And it's like $1. It's like, okay, right. let's be real here. Right. The cost per click's $3. Can't get a lead for $1. That's not gonna work. Like $2? Like, stop me when I'm going too high. Yeah, it's like when you have to like have those kind of awkward conversations where it's like, okay, imagine $10 a click and we have 20% conversion rates. What do you think that cost per lead is going to be? It's like, it can't be $5. So yeah,
the conversion rate's amazing. I mean, talk about it, like really, that's airtight. You're crushing life.
Exactly. And so that's why, like, when you even have like the perfect scenario of like, this is the top 5% of Google Ads campaigns that are ran right now. If we achieve those numbers, it still doesn't pencil. So yeah, it's always great to have those kind of like really realistic conversations. And Google Keyword Planner can help, because you can say like, hey, unless every 3 clicks out of 4 clicks converts, we can't hit those numbers. So you can use this as a tool for you to kind of estimate like what is a realistic scenario. And then maybe look at average conversion rates in your industry. Now that is a whole nother argument that I don't want to go down. But if you were, close within a few percentage points, you can kind of build like a scenario that might play out here.
Yeah. You and I, when we were in the REI game, real estate investment game, that site, the campaign you built, I think had what, a 35% conversion rate?
Mm-hmm.
It was insane. It was the best I've ever seen. And we
Yeah.
still, our cost per lead was still a couple $100.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had 30% conversion rates at $80 clicks. So you think about, every 3 to 4 clicks, you're $240 or $320 a lead. But that's because we
the
knew
only way you could even have survived in that ecosystem at $80 a click.
Yeah, well, you're bidding basically against people who pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash for one property. They don't mess around with their cost per click. $80 is nothing to them. They'll do that 10 times if it gets them a lead, which it does, and it does and it will. So that's what they're willing to throw that at. So when the reward is high, the risk, is relevant. How much are you willing to risk for a couple $100,000 in profit? Are you willing to risk $500? Yeah, like 10 times, like now, tomorrow.
That was a good quote. When the reward is high, the risk is relative.
Yeah.
John Moran. Awesome. If you're watching this and you have questions, hit us in the comments. Be a pal, chat it up, make it look like we're important and people are actually watching these things.
We're lonely over here.
Yeah. We're trying to launch a YouTube channel, y'all. You know what we're trying to do. You're a business owner. You've been there. Throw us a bone.
Yeah. Drop us a subscribe. Maybe just comment saying, John, you have nice hair. Like I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I would too. I appreciate the irony. Like, comment, share.
Hit the bell. Subscribe.
Yeah, love us, please.
Repost our videos on your Twitter, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, like everything.
All the things.
Yeah.
Your TikTok. I don't know, dude. I'm supposed to be a digital marketer. I haven't touched it. I won't.
We're too old for TikTok. I mean, let the younger digital marketers deal with TikTok.
Snappers.
Yeah. I don't. That fandangled network.
It'll be funny because a year from now we'll be launching our TikTok channel.
Like, hey, it's Johnny Costin. Teach TikTok.
That's awesome. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.